Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mediocre Takes podcast, and welcome back to the Mediocre Merry-thon, our 12-day Christmas marathon that is ending today. Today we're talking about Billy and Mandy, so let's just get started.
Okay, Mandy and Graham team up with Baron to find the head vampire and save a recently turned Santa. Plot twist, head vampire is Mrs. Claus, and she's tired of being the backbone of Santa's whole enterprise. Which, can you blame her? Billy saves the day by turning Santa back and getting Mrs. Claus some help.
Billy is too much for me, and I know I've talked a lot about how characters like this where the whole joke is them being annoying or dumb, but I just can't do it anymore. They get old real fast, and that's the same case here. I feel like I would have enjoyed this episode a bit more if it weren't for Billy. I'm so glad that Billy didn't go with Mandy and crew because it would have been so much more annoying. Mrs. Claus was so right for doing what she did. I mean, having to work all year while a man only has to work for one day, literally so unimaginable. I'm glad she stood up for herself, but I'm also really sad because at the end of the day, she just chose to go back to the normal routine. Because even though Santa says he's going to change, we all know he isn't.
But at least she has a gay best friend now.
I mean, I guess. I don't even want to comment on that. I just really hope one day she breaks the cycle. Because, like, this, we know this has happened a bunch of times because Santa mentions it. And I just want her to, like, stick with it for once. Like, stop letting the man get away with things. I like the idea that Santa and Mrs. Claus were originally just normal people and turned themselves into what they are today. I just think that's a fun idea, I guess. And that's it.
Billy and Mandy's version of Santa Claus wears thongs, confirmed? I just had to point that out because they straight up showed him wearing a purple thong like in the first like 3 minutes. Reference to Star Wars in my Billy and Mandy Christmas episode? More likely than you think. Okay, the way Mandy said the E slur, the one often used towards like Inuit and Yupik people, it felt malicious, which I don't think either of us are surprised over Mandy using the slur. She is for sure the type of bitch that would freely say the F slur and get away with it, because there's a specific sect of gay people who think it's cunty when mean women say slurs. No tea, no shade, of course.
All tea, all shade. All tea, all shade. All tea, all shade. Do I have to say it again? All tea, all shade.
Say it for us both. Okay, speaking of being cunty, Baron. He was such a fun character. I love LGBTQ representation in children's media. I mean, he literally did the limp wrist thing multiple times. So how did we feel about the twist of Mrs. Claus being a vampire?
I liked it. I think it was nice. I just wish they would have stuck with him becoming a vampire for real though, because I just need her to stand up. But I do like the idea of her being a vampire. Like that sounds like a really fun idea, and I like how they ended the episode with that.
Yeah, I do think that the idea of Mrs. Claus being a vampire is interesting, but it does make me wonder if she is a vampire, why did she age? Like I understand that for, story purposes, they had to make it, seem like she was getting older like a normal human being, but also she's not a normal human being. So, and they didn't give an explanation for like why she was aging. It's not really a big deal, but it did make me think. So I'm kind of torn on whether or not I like Santa in this, because on one hand, he's a lazy schmuck that made his wife pick up all the chores. On the other hand, he literally admitted to being turned multiple times and still wants to be with her, aka simp behavior. He does wear thongs, which I personally believe is also slave behavior. So I think I do like him, but he's on thin ice. You know what? Actually, I am curious what he did before to make Mrs. Claus turn him into a vampire again. It had to be something along the lines of like him making her lose her shit. So maybe no, actually I do hate him. I hate him. Never mind. No, we hate Santa Claus in this. Is this a must-watch Christmas special? Yes. This is similar to The Amazing World of Gumball, where it feels like any other episode, but with a Christmas theme. And since I do fancy the Billy and Mandy show, I just think it was a great episode. I also think the plot was pretty fun. This is also one of the only Christmas specials that we've reviewed that I saw airing on television. I'm sure Cartoon Network will also air the Tom and Jerry special, and they may have like aired some of the other ones that we've reviewed as well. But I did just want to point that out. Also, fun fact, guys, to any of our listeners out there, you can watch this whole special on the archive.org website. Thanks, Internet Archive. What about you, Marco?
I also say yes to recommending this. I feel like this is a fun episode. I just really like the idea of Mrs. Claus being a vampire, and I feel like what they did with that was really interesting. The only caveat is Santa is a bitch, but like it's kind of fun either way. So I do recommend this. Anyways, you guys, that's the end of our Christmas marathon. We finally did it. We posted for 12 days in a row. Thank you for listening. If you want to send us a voice message on Spotify for podcasters, we also have social media on the description, and it's everything. So goodbye. We did it.
If the Megaverse was real, you'd be a beta.
I can't with you. I can't with you. We're stopping this recording.
You know, I was just
Wait,
thinking about it.
I have one thing. Okay. Is it okay?